He coasting. That's
Oh
what's up,
yeah.
man. That's what's up, man. That is what's up. Hey, look, to all our viewers and listeners out there. On a somber note, the No Cat Sports Show podcast, we want to extend our prayers for Buffalo Bills safety, Damar Hamlin. As you guys already know, like I said, Monday night, you know, I don't. Yeah, that was hard to look at. Let me say that that was hard to look at. As we talked about behind the scenes, guys. Jonathan notified me, you notified me, Mills, and like I said, I was getting texts and phone calls and stuff like that, and I had to look at it for myself. I've never seen anything like that, especially on the football field. It brought me back to Hank Gathers, Loyola Marymount. When he passed out on the court due to heart failure. I mean, that within itself, man, brought me back to that, man. And yeah, I knew it was serious when all those doctors was coming on the field and stuff like that, and performing CPR. And oh man, but from what I've heard today, there is some positive news. In terms, I think his uncle or something put it out there in terms of that he's breathing with, I think, like 50% in terms of with oxygen rather than 100%. I'm not a doctor, but from what I've gathered, that is very positive and stuff like that. So he's still in critical condition. So we're still going to extend our prayers out to Damar Hamlin and his family as well. What are you guys' thoughts on it, man? What were you thinking? Where was you at? Starting with you, Mills.
I was in the bed, hadn't planned on watching the whole game, but y'all know I've been riding with the Bills the whole season.
True,
So I
true story.
definitely wanted to watch the game and just see what could happen, how this would play out. This injury, this hit and then him collapsing happened so early on in the game. I just kind of sat up and was like, what just happened? The media does what they do. They don't want to. They show it a couple times and they're like, "Oh, this is serious. Let's stop showing this," which I'm glad of. But when they were showing the other players and their reactions, I was like, "Oh, this isn't good. This isn't good." I couldn't see. I don't know if you all could see anymore. Like, you couldn't kind of see what they were doing to him. But a lot of talk has been about, why would they think that they could play 5 minutes later? And I've since heard that the NFL said they didn't say that. So I don't know if that's true or not after something so traumatic. But people were fussing about, well, when are they going to call the game? When are they going to call the game?
Yes.
And I think we all were texting and posting like, we don't think they should play this game. But I didn't think about them holding the people in the stands so that they don't rush out, because they knew they had to get the ambulance out, which made a lot of sense. So they told them they were kind of suspended for a minute so that they didn't all just rush out and then maybe, possibly clog up the traffic arteries. And they said the hospital was only like 2 miles. So, they got him there. According to them, they got him immediate care and stuff like that. But to hear that, he technically coded twice while he was still on the field, and to have all of those people watching that, like, that's very traumatic. And how heartless it would be to start a game back up. Somebody else mentioned, when people have severe concussions, they go right back to playing. And now I think about that differently. So I know we're going to talk a little bit about Tua in a little bit, but that's where I am with it. I pray that he makes it. I pray that he has a full recovery. Every day I'm looking for an update, trying to figure out, okay, what's the new news. But, for a while he didn't have any oxygen to his brain. So who knows really where he stands. But I love the person that he is, just by reading about him. I was not familiar with him prior to the game. What you got, Mo?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a situation like this just put life into perspective, because a lot of times when we watch sports, we take full advantage that these players are putting their lives on the line. Like literally every time they scrap up, they step out there on the football field, they running into each other. Chris Warren said it best when we had him on the show. It's like a series of car accidents every time a collision happens in the NFL. So I think sometimes as fans, we take it for granted. When certain things happen, a big hit happens, something like that occurs. That's one. So I think we should appreciate our athletes a little bit more as fans, especially in the NFL and NHL or any of these contact leagues. Right. It could be life altering or life ending at a moment's notice. The other thing that I thought about as I looked at it and I saw the criticism from different fans and stuff like that is people just have to calm down and stop being quarterbacks, Tuesday morning quarterbacks, because at the end of the day, when you're in that situation and you're in charge of a corporation, there's always protocols that have to be adhered to. One thing that no one ever mentioned is that security has to come in to secure the other teams as well. I'm glad that Mills mentioned about the fans, because you'll cause mass hysteria, and you don't want that. Like, people would trample each other to get out of there. I don't know if anybody ever been to a pro or even a college or a high school game. You know, it's crowded as I don't know what in the park.
Oh, we grew up going to go-go's. We know how it is when the crowd move and you get stuck.
Yeah, so it's gonna be crazy. And then like it's Cincinnati, it's not like a huge city, so it's not like a whole lot of accesses when it comes to major highways. So all of those things come into perspective. I think the NFL did what they need to do and are continuing to do that. Thoughts and prayers with the young man, but from a fan and a human perspective, even I'm critical of it. We value our athletes. We just don't. Like, you can't really put a price on a person's life, so it doesn't matter how much money they make. It just doesn't, because he has a mom, he has a dad, he has family, and when he gone, that money can't bring him back. So I hope everybody takes a lesson from this, that we start appreciating these young men and women when they are performing.